Slightly different setting for y'all. I'm actually getting ready to officiate a wedding. It's my niece's wedding, so that's why I'm dressed like this. But I wanted to talk today about my biggest regret when it comes to watch collecting. When I got married roughly 13 years ago, 14 years ago, I didn't have a watch that I wore for that special moment. Now that I'm older, now that I'm into watches, it kind of sucks because I wish I would have had that. I wish I would have had that watch that I wore on that special day for that special moment that I could wear for years to come. And to me, it doesn't matter the cost of the watch. It doesn't matter the brand of the watch. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just I wanted to commemorate that special moment and that I could make memories with it as years went on together as we continue in our marriage. And then the other part of that is that I regret that I didn't have a watch when my son was born. So, you look back at all the photos of, holding your baby for the first time or when you first got married, and it's cool to see if you were wearing a watch to see that in there, and I just didn't have that. That's my biggest regret when it comes to watch collecting, and honestly one of my biggest regrets in life in general, because it's such a special moment that you only get to do once, that I wish I had that. Fast forward to today, and why we're talking about this today is that my niece and her fiance are getting married today, and I get to be a part of that, officiating the wedding. And I wanted to buy them a gift, something special, and so I wanted to buy the groom a watch for him to commemorate this day and this moment to wear in the wedding that he could have for years to come. Well, when I talked to the parents, they were like, well, he's not really into watches. He barely wears his Apple Watch. And so I was like, you know what? I remember when I was like that. I remember at that age, I wasn't into watches. I wasn't where I am today. And looking back, I regret it. So I don't want him to have the same regret, which is why I got him this. So this is actually a vintage OP that I picked up at the Watch Preserve. But I was talking with him, and he mentioned, he's like, hey man, we just got this in, maybe you'd be interested in this OP. It's a 34, it's a vintage, kind of your style, kind of what you're looking for. And I was like, you know what, this would be the perfect opportunity to snag a watch, and I can wear it while officiating. So it's a part of this special moment. And later on down the road, if he gets into watches, or even, when I pass away, I can leave this to them and they will have this to commemorate this special moment for them, and make more memories with it down the road. And so, if they have a kid, I may give it to them and be like, hey, wear this when you're holding your son for the first time. It's the same watch that was at your wedding. So something like that I think would be really cool. And so watches we don't always buy for ourselves. Sometimes we buy them for other people. This is one of the, I think, the right ways to buy it for somebody else. Not to impress somebody else, but to gift to somebody else. So I'm super excited about this, but that's why I got this. We'll talk more about it in a bit, but I have to go get ready because we have to do the walkthrough and actually get this thing going. Congratulations again to Austin and Alexa for a beautiful wedding, and thank you guys for allowing me to be a part of it, being a part of such a special day. Now, I know I was going to get a few questions about the watch itself, so the first question I want to answer is what model is it and why? According to Rolex, this is a 1968 Oyster Perpetual, reference number 1005. Now, what drew me to this watch was I was looking for something that had the timeless classic look of watches from the Mad Men era. When I think about watches from that period, I think of leather straps, I think of dress watches, I think of two-tone or gold, and I think of something that would look good in a casual setting as well as in a business setting. This watch specifically comes in at 34 millimeters, so it fits well under the cuff, but also looks good when you're wearing out with a t-shirt. I wanted something that wasn't big and bulky, that wouldn't draw a lot of attention, and I love the look of the two-tone. It is currently on a Rolex lizard skin bracelet. I actually prefer this over the steel bracelet. It looks a little more dressy, but also looks great casual and fits in with the vintage aesthetic. I knew I wanted something that was less flashy because I'm buying this for somebody else, or with somebody else in mind that maybe one day he will wear it. And I don't know what his style is, and I don't know what his watch taste will be down the road. That's why I went with something classic, something that would stand the test of time, and something that would look good in almost any setting. The second question I want to answer is how much did it cost? Now, full transparency, I did purchase this at full price from the Watch Preserve. They are not sponsors of the channel. They're not supporters of the channel. I did not get a discount. So I purchased from them for around $2,800, and then I got it serviced through Rolex for around $1,000. And those two combined put me at $3,800, which still puts me well under the price of what these are going for on Chrono24 or other online sites. The third thing I want to answer is why get it serviced? How much did it cost? What was the experience like? And how long did it take? So I know a lot of people are conflicted about service in general on vintage watches. They're worried they're going to damage it. They're worried the character's going to be taken away, especially if they polish it. And there's a lot of fears and rumors that go around with it. And I just wanted to talk about my experience specifically. So this watch was from 1968, so it's almost 60 years old. It was serviced at some point. We don't know exactly how long ago that was, but the movement was dry and it definitely needed a service. And whoever had serviced it before had tried to polish it, and they had over polished one side, so that needed to be corrected. And because I have in mind that I'm possibly giving this to somebody one day, I want to make sure it's running as good as possible if I do give it to them, and that it has some sort of warranty with it, or at least some sort of service record with it, that we know when it was last serviced and what was done to it. Now, because we have a Rolex service center here in Dallas, you used to be able to take your watch in, take it to the service center, they would take it in, service it, give it back to you. That is no longer the process. Now you have to go through your AD, and your AD will send it to the service center. It took about 3 to 4 weeks total from the day I took it in to get it back. And as I mentioned, it cost around $1,000. Now that included the service, which is an overhaul of everything and then polishing, but also replacing the crown and replacing the lizard skin bracelet. The lizard skin strap that I had was a little worn out and the buckle was discolored, so they went ahead and replaced that. They polished out some scratches that were in the sapphire. They polished and corrected the case as best they could and completely overhauled the movement, make sure it was running correctly and fully lubricated everything. They did clean up the dial a little bit. Now there are 2 little indices missing off the dial. Now I don't know if that's how the watch came originally or if in the cleaning and refinishing process that was taken away. But the watch now looks brand new, runs brand new, and has a 2-year warranty that comes with it. It also comes with your service pouch when it comes back to you, along with your service card, which that service card has a little smart chip in it. So when you put it to your phone, it's gonna bring up a web page and it'll tell you your watch's serial number, reference number, and the last service on it, along with when the warranty expires. So really cool that if you get a watch service and you ever decide to sell, you do have something with it from Rolex saying, certifying that this is a Rolex watch, because Rolex will not service it unless it is a authentic Rolex watch. But overall, the experience was phenomenal and super excited with how the watch came out. 4th question I know I'm gonna get is, why go vintage? Why not something new? Well, as we talked about before with the cost of everything, I was able to get a like new Rolex for a substantially cheaper. Even if you go buy a new OP, it's gonna cost you double this. And you can buy some other brands that are maybe a little bit cheaper, but the thing that I like about the Rolex, and I'm a bit of a Rolex fanboy, not because of the allure that comes with it, but because of the build quality. One of the things that I really admire about the brand is their dedication to accuracy and durability. So if I'm gonna give it to somebody, I want it to stand the test of time. And then also in the back of my mind, as a young couple, if they do ever need to sell some things in a pinch because they've fallen on hard times, this is something that could help them. They could get some cash if they need to get out of a bad situation. I would hope they wouldn't, but you never know. The last thing I wanna answer is, how does it wear in accuracy? I've had it back from service for a few weeks now, and I've been wearing it, and I will say the way it wears is absolutely perfect. Wears like a dream. I love the vintage sizing. You know, when guys hear 34mm, they probably think it's gonna be way too small or look like a women's watch. I think it looks great on the wrist. I think it looks perfect. I think it's a great size. If you went into like the 32 down to like 28mm, that'd probably look a little weird on a lot of guys, but I think this is probably the perfect size. So if you're on the fence about trying out something like a 34, 36mm, definitely give it a shot. You may like how it fits. Super slim, super flat on the wrist, slides well under dress cuffs. Again, I think that if you were looking for something like that, you would really like it. Now, in terms of accuracy and how it's running, it is running just as accurate as my new Explorer. So my Explorer is a 2024, this is a 1968, and it is running just as accurate. And this is a testament to what I talked about in the previous question, is that the Rolex commitment to durability and accuracy. And that's what I really enjoy about this. So one day I may pass it on and hopefully it's still running just as accurate. Just a beautiful watch, really excited about it. I wanna leave you with this, and it's that if you are considering starting a watch collection or starting to get into watches, don't wait. Start today. Start making memories today. Start collecting those milestones with the watch. And it doesn't have to be the newest thing. It doesn't have to be the most expensive thing. It doesn't have to be a luxury brand. It can be an entry-level watch. It can be a vintage watch. It can be whatever it is. But what's more important is the moments you have with that watch. It's the memories you build while wearing that watch. And I think that's what I love about watch collecting. I think that's what makes it so cool, is the stories that are associated with watches. And I think a prime example of this is the Rolex GMT that was worn by Edgar Mitchell, astronaut Edgar Mitchell, flown to the moon. That GMT just sold at auction for almost $2.2 million. Now that watch in and of itself is not a $2.2 million watch, but it's the moment that it was a part of. It is the memory tied to that watch. The thing that was done wearing that watch is what makes it so special. And that's true of all watches, but every watch is different for all of us, right? So this watch is special for me because of the moment I got to wear it in and be a part of. And so I hope I get to pass that down to them one day, and it matters as much to them. That moment will matter to them more than anybody else. And the memories you make, you know, walking with your kids, walking with your wife, playing with them, going to hang out, going to shoot, spending time with your family, achieving great milestones in your career, whatever it may be. Those moments are what's gonna make your watch so valuable. It's not the watch that makes the man, it's the man that makes the watch. So don't wait to get into watch collecting like I did. Start today. Start making those memories today. Don't worry about the watch. Worry about what you're doing while wearing the watch. That's what's special about it. That's what's cool about this hobby. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for following along. There will be more watch content coming out thanks to Wolvyn Luxury Timepieces, who are sponsors of the channel and who sponsor Wolvyn Watch Wednesday. If you're interested in a luxury timepiece, a newer timepiece, check them out. They'll get you taken care of. Again, I got to give a shout out to the Watch Preserve. If you want something vintage, they have something for every price range, so go check them out as well. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. Karate chop that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Man, I am rusty.